So if you haven't actually taken a minute and watched our Beadle and Grimm's Complete Character Chronicles unboxing, you should click this video up here, go watch that video. It kind of covers a broader view of the whole product and what we think of it. But if you're here, then you're here for the Complete Character Chronicle Fighter Complete Flip Through. And so in that video, I took about 45 minutes of footage and edited it down to about 20 or so. So here, it's just going to be a complete stream of consciousness flip through as I go through the fighter book, looking at it for the first time, just sharing with you what my thoughts are. Some of the stuff I say is probably dumb. Some of the stuff I say might be insightful to you. Either way, this is a good look at exactly what's going on cover to cover in the Complete Fighter Chronicles. So take a look.
So we'll start by looking at the Complete Fighter Chronicle, which I'm excited. So I've already looked at the inside. We can see we got like a sample keep for a fighter that they might want to, run. We have the opening page, which looks like some nice splash art with Valeros. And so we start with our certificate of live birth. And I guess it's interesting, right? It's more than just the rules. It's a way for us to make a character. So think of this as a single character sheet, and your character would use this book. So this book is dedicated to the character, which is also kind of cool because if you play this class, you kind of got this keepsake memory that you can keep at the end, right? That's interesting. So I can see right up here, we're in the tab for a character right now. Name, place of and date of birth, ancestry and gender, birthmarks, note location of your birthmark. Is your birthmark shaped like a weapon? Yes, no. Talk about what you're raised by. It's pretty cool. And this is a more common character sheet. You have your name, your AC, your strength, all the stats that you would have on a character sheet normally in the book. And then a list of all of the items that you hold and where you wear them, all your consumables, pages for inventory, all your permanently stowed items and supplies. And this is what's cool too, right? So now we get to the class feature section. So you're playing a fighter. So since they know you're playing a fighter, they're going to be able to track all this data as if you're a fighter. So now when you're first level, you can see right here. So now when you're first level, you can see right here, it tells me I get a fighter class ability. I get a fighter feat, a heritage feat, an ancestry feat, a background feat, my initial proficiencies. And then at second level, well, I'm getting a fighter feat and a skill feat. It knows that. Guess what? At third level, I get bravery because all fighters get bravery at third level. It tells you right there so you know what you get. There's no accidentally forgetting about class features or what you have. And it goes all the way up to 20th level on the side, including your highest feats. So yeah, that's pretty cool the way it allows you to track this in a per class way. And then here it has a spot for all the feats and abilities I have. So if I choose a feat for my character, I can add it on this page, including a spot for me to mark what book it's from and the page number, what source it's from, and the page number it's on. So all the feats should theoretically be in this book, and we'll check. So that's pretty cool. So like 2 full pages for that archetype. So, a common rule that people play with, and I know that I play with, is the free archetype feat. So it gives you a whole 2-page spread just dedicated to tracking what is your archetype and, what have you taken with it. It gives you spots for multiple archetypes here, archetype feats. And here, it's called leadership, it looks like, in case you have followers that follow you or events that led to your rise in power. And what do we got over here? It looks like the whole page for Pathfinder Society. So if you play Pathfinder Society for any reason, if you like to go to these Pathfinder Society events, you can take this and track, all the Pathfinder Society equipment you have, the school perks, etc., and a log for all of the Pathfinder Society adventures that your character would play in. Nice 2-page spread with lots and lots of space. And this is interesting, a nice important people section. So do you have important people in your backstory that matter to you? as well as important places. Very cool. Important quests. So sometimes you get so many quests that you just, forget. This gives you multiple pages dedicated to all the important quests and the treasure you got over your career. So it's kind of just a cool way to track everything your character did over their whole career in one place. And it does turn it into a sort of keepsake, right? At the end, you can pull this off your shelf and go back and say, what did Valeris do in his career? And now we get into the real meat, and that is the rules. So it's going to tell us about the fighter class, and it's going to tell us everything we need to know to play. The same things that you would get in the core rulebook, but instead of being, F is nestled right between a couple of other classes in the book, right? Here, you don't have to flip through and go past, the 80% of the content that doesn't matter to you. You're right into the fighter class and everything that matters for you here. And we get right into the feats. So one of the cool things with Pathfinder is obviously the feats you get to choose from. And here we see lots and lots of feats for the fighter, especially fighter get lots of feats to choose from. They're all combined from these multiple sources into one. Now, my understanding is they only do the core rulebook. So that would be like the advanced player's guide. That would be the core rulebook. That would be anything that's considered Pathfinder core. So that excludes things like Secrets of Magic, Guns and Gears, and any of the newer source books that are coming out. But this would be a great place to get 95% of what you need as a fighter. So just tons and tons of pages. I don't have to filter anything out. I don't have to look through feats that don't matter to my character. I can just go and find the feats that matter. It even has the sample builds, just like you would get in the core rulebook. Oh, I'm an archer. And I'm curious, I wonder if this art is exactly the same as what we see in the core rulebook, or if this is unique art made specifically for Beadle and Grimm. My guess is it's the same exact art, but I'm going to pull out my core rulebook just to check. So I've got the core rulebook out. We can see it's much thicker. Let's search fighters. Rogue, nope, let's flip back. Ranger, nope, I'm way too far. Monk, too far. Fighter. So we're going to look and see if the artwork is the same for the archer sample build. Duelist, archer. So we can see here, this is the archer in the core rulebook, and this is the archer in the Beadle and Grimm's. So it is the same art from the core rulebook. It would have been a big undertaking to try to sort of do new art for all the stuff, but I was just curious. So we can see it actually is the same art and the same information that you need. So feats all the way through level 20, and then skills, how to earn an income. Oh, look, recall knowledge. How quaint. It's the most important skill in the game. Ooh, look at that nice full page art right there. So, after we get through all of these skills, what do we got after that? Because we got the skill feats, class features. What else do we have? So they give you a list of it's a selected general and skill feat description. So that's almost like a curated list, I suppose, that is meant specifically for you to be a fighter. I guess this list is only ones that they think will apply most to fighter. They're alphabetical, which is cool. Oh, check this out. So a lot of books will have a place marker, like a bookmark, right? So you can mark a page, especially if there's a spell or something you need to go to all the time. But this book actually comes with two. So you can put one, you can put the silver one, in an important page that talks about maybe your class features, and you can put the gold one on an important feat that you need to reference all the time. But that is interesting. I've never seen one with two bookmarks like that. That is pretty cool. And this has a couple of archetypes that you might want to use. It looks like they give you like a curated list of archetypes as well that synergize popular with fighters like Bastion and Medic and Sentinel. So Bastion, that's what Nular. Nular was a Bastion archetype with the fighter class. And then we have Adventuring for Fun and Profit. This chapter begins by describing the general rules and conventions of how the game is played, and then provides more in-depth explanation for the rules and modes of each play. Okay. So this mode is actually teach you how to play the game. So you could jump right into Pathfinder without buying the core rulebook. You could just buy this book. So I know I want to play a fighter. Open this, and it's going to teach you the rules for the game. I don't know why I didn't really think of that. It makes sense that these would be in there. I just thought it would be specifically character focused stuff, but no, it's the whole rules, all the general, all the basic actions you can take. All of that is here, which is really cool. Okay, and then of course the equipment guide, a whole section based on equipment. What is Pathfinder without equipment? So you can get all of your awesome gear. All right. And the last section, oh, look at that awesome art. The last section here is the journal. So this is, I'm interested to see what this is. I guess because this is kind of meant to be a character sheet, they provide space in here for you to track all of your journal notes, everything that your character would have done, who you met. You can write in here and just use this as your journal without needing, you know, a separate journal like a lot of players will use. There's even a grid based here. I guess this could be for a map of some sort. Maybe you can map out your own keep. Quote from Valeros on the bottom of the page. So there's a lot of blank pages in here at the back. Definitely space for you to take your own notes and draw your own maps. My greatest foes. So there's a section here. They just kind of give you my greatest foes. You can mark down your recurring villains in your thing. But like the majority of these pages look to be blank pages. I mean, there's cool little sketches and artworks and like guiding things for you to do. But the last few pages are all, ooh, look at that. The last few pages back here are all blank. And then we get to here, which is like a spot for a sketchbook and this big map. And I'm not sure what you would use this for. I guess if you were, you know, going through a dungeon of some sort, you could track it down. Looking at this key where it talks about door. So right here, if you look at the key, it talks about here's a door, gate, weapon rack, murder hole. I feel like this is for you as a fighter to design your personal keep, especially as you get up in level and go to retire. Yeah, that makes sense. Guest book, so when you play with someone, you can have them sign their name in the book, all the characters that your character played with across our journey. And of course, at the end, certificate of death. Most adventurers meet their demise. And so this is a way for you to track place of death, date and time of death, cause of death, along with a checkbox in case it's a full TPK. Where are you leaving your valuables to? Must you be avenged? Most notable accomplishments. And it just say, please allow 3 days for resurrection before filling out this form. Because as we all know, death is not permanent in a game like this. And a fun little click at the end. Administrative use only. Remains received as dead or undead, along with an undead disposal fee. And at the back, we have this nice, cool pouch. So that is the Complete Fighter Chronicle. I want to do a double check. I want to see how many pages were really dedicated to this journal, because I wonder if this is how they make up the difference between content between the fighter and the wizard, is by just making more journal pages for the fighter. So the fighter journals start on 166 and they end on 222. So that is a grand total of 56 pages of notes. And that gives us a look at the Complete Fighter Chronicle. That's really cool.
All right, so that's going to do it for our Complete Fighter Chronicle flip through. I hope you got some cool insight into some of the stuff in there. Some of the comments I've received since posting that original video has been that you should definitely go look at the equipment section closer. It's full of in-jokes and some lighthearted stuff, and it's not just a dry sort of equipment listing. I haven't had a chance to go look at it yet. Maybe you should if you have a copy yourself. And keep your eyes open, because we have the Wizard Complete Character Chronicle flip through coming. And that video is sort of the second half of the complete video, which again, if you haven't seen it, click up here, go watch that video. And if you haven't at all, click down there, subscribe to follow our channel, give us some support, and we'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy.